I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Dominion's $1.6 billion defamation lawsuit against Fox is set to go to trial this month, with jury selection commencing April 13th in Delaware Superior Court. And Dominion just got another big victory where Judge Eric Davis, the Delaware Superior Court judge who is presiding over the matter, stated that if Dominion was going to call Rupert Murdoch, the chairman of Fox, and subpoenaed Rupert Murdoch, that he would indeed compel Rupert Murdoch to have to testify in person before the jury, as Rupert Murdoch had to testify in his deposition that we discussed here on the MeidasTouch Network. Now, you may be a little bit perplexed and say, why was this even an issue in the first place? Rupert Murdoch is the chairman of Fox. He was clearly involved in the scheme by Fox to provide disinformation about the election and to defame Dominion and to perpetuate the big lie that somehow Dominion changed votes from Trump to Biden as part of this election fraud lie that Donald Trump and Fox and all these right-wing extremists peddled to try to overthrow a free and fair election. Well, one of the arguments that Fox had made to the judge is that, look, Rupert Murdoch gave his deposition. He doesn't need to do anything more. He's what's called an apex employee. You don't get much higher than Rupert Murdoch. And to compel the apex employee, the highest person in an organization, you have to make a compelling showing. And all of the other individuals that Fox claimed it was going to put on the witness stand would be sufficient, and they don't need Rupert Murdoch. And Fox said, look, we're going to offer Tucker Carlson and Maria Bartiromo and Sean Hannity and Brett Baier. We're also going to have our CEO, Suzanne Scott, and President Jay Wallace. They're all going to testify. So you don't need Rupert Murdoch to show up because they desperately want to protect Rupert Murdoch and not have him show up in a public trial and perform as awful as he did when he had his deposition taken. I'll go through some of those portions again for you in a moment. And Dominion was like to the judge, what are they talking about? Rupert Murdoch was inextricably intertwined in Fox's defamatory scheme here. Like, Rupert Murdoch was someone who clearly articulated that he knew Donald Trump was deranged, knew that Donald Trump was peddling a big lie, stated under oath that he had the ability to stop it, but continued to platform all of the election lies in order to make sure that Fox would not lose its ratings. As Rupert Murdoch stated in his own deposition, it's all about the green. It's all about the money, and they cared about their ratings at the expense of our democracy. So this was a big blow to Fox that was trying to protect Rupert Murdoch from having to show up and testify in this public trial, which is set to begin on April 13th. And so, folks, we're going to have testimony, unless this case settles, and I don't think it's going to, unless Fox is going to offer billions of dollars. And again, I think this trial is going to be critical for our democracy. We'll see testimony of Tucker and Maria Bartiromo and Sean Hannity and Brett Baier and Suzanne Scott and Jay Wallace, who are all going to get up there. And if it's anything like their deposition, which it likely has to be because their testimony's been locked in on their depositions, they're going to basically say that, Donald Trump was lying. They knew Donald Trump was lying. They have emails and text messages where they've said all of these demeaning things about Fox viewers. And all of that, folks, will go before a public jury, and we'll all get to whether there's a camera in there or not. It's in public, so reporters are going to be in there, and we will give you those updates on a daily basis of the testimony. This is what statement Fox spokesperson put out, and you'll see how just kind of ridiculous this statement is. First, let me tell you what the judge said about Murdoch. The judge specifically said in this hearing that just took place, quote, Rupert Murdoch and Lachlan Murdoch, both of them, they are relevant to the case. If Dominion wants to bring them live, they need to issue a trial subpoena, and I would not quash it. He said, it would be my discretion that they come testify in person at trial. And when he says, I will not quash it, it means that he will compel Rupert Murdoch and his son Lachlan Murdoch to testify in person at trial. Now, the audacity of Fox. Here is the statement from their spokesperson after losing their motion to try to preclude or to quash the testimony of Rupert Murdoch and Lachlan Murdoch. Fox spokesperson says the following: Dominion clearly wants to continue generating misleading stories from their friends in the media to distract from their weak case. Demanding witnesses who had nothing to do with the challenged broadcasts is just the latest example of their political crusade in search of a financial windfall, right? How dare that spokesperson say that? How dare they? But there is no bottom to the depths of depravity of Fox. Just think about it from this perspective. They're accusing Dominion of trying to generate misleading stories. Is that the ultimate projection? Fox, a fascist propaganda network, is accusing Dominion, the company that they arbitrarily targeted because it had a name like Dominion, and they wanted to further Donald Trump's big lie because Trump said, well, what do we got? We got Dominion, we got Smartmatic. Let's just go after them and just throw all these big lies together, all these conspiracy theories. Dominion didn't want to be involved in this. Dominion was doing its job. Dominion was supporting a free and fair election with paper backup ballots. Like, they did everything by the book. And Fox targeted them, defamed them, and now when they're trying to assert their legitimate rights in a courtroom, Fox accuses them of trying to generate misleading stories when the essence of this case is that Fox is a fascist propaganda network that is spewing defamatory lies about Dominion. You can't make this stuff up, folks. This is what they go on to say. Demanding the witnesses who had nothing to do with the challenged broadcast is just the latest example of their political crusade, accusing Dominion of engaging in a political crusade. Okay, Fox has engaged in a political crusade for Donald Trump and for their right-wing MAGA Republican agenda. Dominion's not on a political crusade. Dominion simply wants to restore its name and reputation because of the deranged political crusade of Fox to destroy our democracy and hoist up fascism. That's the issue here. Oh, and by the way, let's just pull up Rupert Murdoch's deposition. Question. You are aware, Rupert Murdoch, now that Fox did more than simply host guests and give them a platform, correct? Answer by Rupert Murdoch. I think you've shown me some materials in support of that. Question. In fact, you are now aware that Fox endorsed at times this false notion of a stolen election. Answer. No, not Fox, but maybe Lou Dobbs, maybe Maria as commentators. Question. We went through Fox host Maria Bartiromo, yes. Answer. Yes. Come on. Question. Fox host Jeanine Pirro. Answer. I think so. Question. Fox business host Lou Dobbs. Answer. Oh, a lot. Question. Fox host Sean Hannity. Answer. A bit. Question. All were in that document. Correct answer. Yes, they were. About Fox endorsing a narrative of a stolen election. Correct answer. No, some of our commentators were endorsing it. Question. About their endorsement of a stolen election. Answer by Rupert Murdoch. Yes, they endorsed it. How about Rupert Murdoch giving information that they confidentially received at Fox from the Biden campaign about the ads they were going to run and debate information? How about giving that information to Jared Kushner for the Trump campaign? Let's go to the deposition of Rupert Murdoch. Question. Sure, but do you think it is appropriate for someone in your position to give a heads up to the opposing campaign about what the ad of the opposing campaign will show before it is public? Objection for Rupert Murdoch. I was just trying to help Mr. Kushner. He's a friend of mine. Question. You were trying to help the Trump campaign by giving him a preview of Biden's campaign ads before they were public, correct? Rupert Murdoch, correct. Right. Also, we know from Rupert Murdoch, Rupert understood that Fox could do something about the false claims. Indeed, he believed Fox was, quote, a direct quote from Rupert Murdoch, uniquely positioned to state the message that the election was stolen. Rupert Murdoch Deposition, page 257, lines 19 to page 258, line 3. On January 5th, Rupert Murdoch and Suzanne Scott, the CEO of Fox, discussed whether Hannity, Carlson, and Ingraham should say some version of, quote, the election is over and Joe Biden won. He hoped, Rupert hoped, those words, quote, a direct quote, would go a long way to stop the Trump myth that the election was stolen. However, Suzanne Scott told Rupert Murdoch that, quote, privately, they are all there, but, quote, we need to be careful about using the shows and pissing off viewers, so nobody made a statement. Guess what? The next day was January 6th, the date of the insurrection. And so Rupert Murdoch knew and could control the fact that all of his hosts were there. By there, meaning they were aware that Donald Trump was spreading a lie and the damage it was causing. But to quote directly from their depositions, they didn't want to, quote, piss off their viewers. And Rupert Murdoch claims that he is not a witness and should not have to testify publicly before a jury in Delaware Superior Court. The audacity, but the meritless audacity. Rupert Murdoch's motion to quash, denied. Rupert Murdoch will be required to testify as a witness in Dominion's billion-dollar defamation lawsuit against Fox, set to go to trial with jury selection on April 13th of 2023. I'm glad to be able to report that to you. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Hit subscribe. We are on our way to 1.5 million subscribers here at the MeidasTouch Network, thanks to your incredible support. Hey, wherever you get your audio podcasts, will you do me a favor and search MeidasTouch Podcast and hit subscribe? It is free, and we would love for you to subscribe to the MeidasTouch Podcast. So search MeidasTouch Podcast, subscribe, and leave a 5-star review. Also, if you want to help grow this platform by contributing, you can go to patreon.com/MeidasTouch. We have lots of different memberships there that you can join. We don't have outside investors. That's how we fund this. So if you feel like you're able to support, go to patreon.com/MeidasTouch, but no pressure either way. Okay, now subscribe to this YouTube channel. It is free. Hit subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network.
Our blue wall stopped the red wave and election deniers got denied election. That's why we're celebrating with the new Democracy Prevails team. We've got lots of work to do, but we should all be proud that when democracy was tested, democracy prevailed. You've earned this. Don't wait. Get yours right now at store.meidastouch.com. That's store.meidastouch.com.